Okay. I'm going to transition to basically, our history in terms of our church, which we today call CityHope Church, originally Gates Wesleyan Church. And let me just give some backgrounds on that. The church actually began across the street, a little white church. Well, now they just painted it. It's a little bit off color, well, brownish, is what I'm saying. Anyway, bottom line is that this church initially was formed in 1929 by a small group of people, and they met for a while, as you would expect, without a physical building. But it wasn't too long, literally, from 1929, the very next year, they decided we are going to build a church and break ground. So in 1930, they broke ground and they built the church across the street, and it was completed in 1933 and dedicated then. And we had ownership of that church until 2017, when we finally put this whole facility together. But there's a lot of time in between those two dates, so let me just give a little bit of background on that. We lived basically all together in that one facility across the street until 1995. Just a couple of years prior to that, we said we finally need to build something over here that's more modern and larger. And so this sanctuary that you're physically in right now was finished and completed in 1995, and we moved into here. But we still had ownership of the church across the street because we didn't have the resources at that time to build what you currently see today. What existed at that particular time was the sanctuary here, and basically it's a small size of the foyer that we currently enjoy, but much smaller than we have right now. And but the offices, all the other facilities were across the street, so we would literally go across, back and forth, and have that kind of facility. We recognize that that's not exactly the right way to do it, and we should put everything under one roof, but we had to pay off a lot of debt for this particular facility, so it wasn't until 2016 when we actually started a building committee, and myself and Alan Bentz were on that committee. And it was, at that time, I think 2017, we broke ground on it, or 2016 roughly. And we got this all physically built. And so now we enjoy that time together. Going back to that particular area, we had, when it was first formed, there was a church that was called they called it the church that the Depression built. And it took a lot of faith for those people to build that facility and to do it literally right in the middle of the Depression. So we give them a lot of credit. As you can if you do the math, you can see that we're coming up on our 100th anniversary. That will be in the year 2029. So we're looking forward to that and recognizing that we have a long heritage here, and we look forward to the years ahead. We've had highs and lows in this church in terms of attendance. I think got as high as maybe 200, 250 when it was in the old church, and we had multiple times for the services because we couldn't fit it all at one time. But as the new millennium came in, it did decline a fair amount of reason, and I won't go into a lot of the details of that. But I would say we actually hit a low point right around the time of when COVID hit. So around 2020, 2021, when things really got bad with people sheltering in place, and we were required by the law, if you will, to not meet or risk a fine. And anyway, we got down to I would say about 25 or 30 people. And so for me personally, what I see when we have everybody together in the sanctuary on Sundays, and after seeing all the little kids running around and the excitement and the energy that this church has, my heart is just blessed. It really is. I just see what God has done. And that, in all honesty, I think that has a lot to do with Pastors Justin and Hannah and what they're doing, with the ministry, and God is blessing them and blessing us through them. So I'm really excited for what the future holds for our church. It really is something. I just want to give you one quick little story. I was not born a Wesleyan. I was I was raised Roman Catholic. And when my wife and I first came to this church, one of the reasons I want to tell you this story is about heritage in terms of what this church means and what I think you see every Sunday when you come together as a group. But anyway, we had young ones, and we made a commitment to the Lord 10 years before we came here. We worked inside the Catholic Church 10 years as born-again Christians. But there was a point where we said, we need to be able to be among people that, one, really treasure the Word and live by the Word. And also, when our kids are growing up, we want them to be part of a community where they can experience all that and not think that mom and dad are, quote, the weird ones. So in 1990, we were looking for churches, and we came to this church across the street. And I remember saying to Marilyn, after we came a couple times, I said, what is it with these people? They must want something from us because they're awful friendly. Yeah, but it took me a while to realize it wasn't that they were looking for anything particular. It was the fact that they generally were then and are now some of the nicest people, and we love the Lord. And so I'm glad to be part of this type of church that we're a part of. But I have to tell you, the funny thing was when I went and told my parents about the fact that we were leaving the Catholic Church and joining a Wesleyan church, my mother said to me, "It's not a cult, is it?" And I was like, I have to admit, I knew it wasn't a cult, otherwise I wouldn't have been here. But the funny thing was, I didn't know anything about Wesleyan doctrine or background and so forth. And Alan gave a big lecture on that. But the bottom line is that this is rooted in a very solid biblical background with people that love, as I said, love the Word and abide and live by it. So that's what we basically are, and will continue to be for the many times to come, and for hopefully forever. I want to transition into what does it mean to actually be a member. And one of the things, there's a number of things at it, but basically when we're talking about being a member of our particular CityHope Church, first of all, I want to say that when you join us, we are part of a larger worldwide district, so Alan didn't talk much about the church on a broad general scale, but in the Wesleyan Church, we are part of a church that is currently existing in 97 countries, and in North America alone, there are over 1,500 churches, congregations, with an average weekly attendance as a whole of 268,000 people in North America. And if you put that on a worldwide basis, there's over 4,300 churches with over 382,000 people attending on a weekly basis. So that's what we are part of. And as I said, it is a worldwide mission. We truly believe in missions as a church, not only our particular church, and we give on the order of 10% of our income to missions around the world. And the Wesleyan Church as a whole is really into missionary work and supports that in a very serious manner through something called Global Partners Organization. But we are definitely mission-oriented. What does it mean to be a member of our particular church? It gives you the opportunity, if you will, to be able to vote for pastors and just major decisions in the church. Anything that's a major decision, we have a local board, obviously, that we handle many of the day-to-day decisions. But if it's anything that is large in terms of finances or major decisions in the church, we put it as a vote to the people, and you would get a chance to vote on that. But only, again, if you're a member for that purpose. we expect and we would hope that you would want to be part of outreach in terms of whether it might be whatever. I mean, we truly believe that God gives each and every one of us skills and gifts, and we hopefully expect that you would be willing to use those in whatever capacity that you're comfortable with. But sometimes even when you're not comfortable with a particular thing, step out in faith that God will use you with the gifts He's given you. But there's different ways that you can be, different committees and so forth that you can be on, and we'd love to have you in that way. Many hands make light work is the way that we think of that, and it does help. Finances, I know each Sunday we talk about that offering and what we do with our finances is an act of worship, and we truly believe that. I know that's a hard thing for people, and for me too, it took me a while to realize that, I've got to trust God on this. And when I did, as I've, witnessed in some of the congregations on Sundays, it does make a difference in terms of our faith in Christ, that if we can trust Him with that, it shows that we truly believe that He will take care of us. And I can say for my own personal self that He actually does. So we would hope that you would, if you are not in a state right now where you feel comfortable tithing obviously means 10% of your income. But if you're not comfortable with that yet, we just would pray that you would really turn it over to the Lord and see if He would affirm it inside your heart that He will take care of you. And His word says that He will. He says, trust me in this. And that's the only time in Scripture where the Lord talks about testing Him in that. He says, test me in this and I will open up the floodgates of heaven. And I'm not talking that you're going to end up being rich, but it does mean that He will take care of your needs. We also are very much into, as John Wesley began with the idea of small groups. That's the way they formed a club. It was a holiness club, and they were derided for it on campus. But each of us, we talk about our small groups, and it's really a big part of our mission within our own church, that the small groups, we believe, really does help people grow in their faith. And we talk over and over and over again that we are not only to be here as disciples, but to make disciples of others. So being in small groups helps you to get beyond what you hear on Sunday, but to dig in it for your personal self and grow in it. So those are some of the things that we believe is, the benefits and the responsibilities of being a member. But we thank you for being interested in doing just that.